Hey, this is Amy with Creative Catapult Coaching,
And Megan with Focus Like a Mother.
and this is the Control All Think podcast, season 2, episode 2. No working title yet.
Yes, I think we were maybe
We had a
something about
topic
summer.
with summer and transitions into summer, but no fun tongue-in-cheek title yet. I'm,
Yeah, no, nothing
if
exciting.
anyone ends up listening, my articulation is a little bit off today because, or more than normal. Yesterday was hot. It's the first day I had my AC on, and I spent a good part of the day in the sun. So all of my systems coming online this morning has been kind of hit or miss. And there's some moments where things are functioning and then things derail. And I was thinking a lot about sort of the double-edged sword of my AC.
Mm. So what do you mean the double-edged sword?
Um, I'm somebody who's really impacted by being too hot. So for years, it was really stressful to think, oh my gosh, I'm going to be too hot in my apartment. I'm not going to be able to sleep. And it created this whole cycle of stress,
Okay.
mental, some of which was physical as well. And then I got the AC and it's like, okay, now I can be comfortable. But I forgot about how much noise they make and have learned that, the sound really drains me, kind of lowers my capacity as well. So it's this, where's the balance point between feeling comfortable physically, and also being able to not fry my nervous system so far that I can work. So double-edged sword being physically comfortable, sensory comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah. What are some of yours? Or do you have any that pop to mind, I
Well,
guess?
the AC in the car, so the sound thing has been getting me. I don't know if it's because there's more sounds in the summer. Um, but the AC in the car is really loud. And so then it's like everybody's talking from the back seat and, music requests and the AC is loud. And I caught myself yesterday, like, we need to not make it blast so loud. And it was, but I could at least say it was like the noise from the AC was like the last straw of sounds that I could handle before I was like way too overstimulated. But I don't know, I'm trying to think through like summer things, and in passing you and I talked about summertime icks I think last week or week before, just in passing. um so yeah, that for for my house, a big thing is that summer routines all change. And
Yeah.
so it's just with I have two kids, and so sunscreen is an ick for me. So I don't remember that being as much of an ick when I was younger, but I can put it on my kids. That's fine. Uh, so I have to get sunscreen on small people, at least one small person, before they go out the door to camp for the day. Um, but like doing yard work and stuff, it's like now I have the toss up between wearing, I usually wear like UPF clothing and stuff outside, and then I don't have to wear sunscreen. Um, and then the kids got me a big sun hat for a gardening sun hat for Mother's
Mhm.
Day. Um, and that one at least fits better. But it's like some of the hats are, too tight on my head, or they hold the heat in. And then it's like, there was a day I was doing yard work and like I was dripping.
Oh,
But the feeling of sunscreen, especially like on my face and stuff, and it kind of goes with the feeling of like makeup and stuff. I just don't like extra stuff on. And so for me, summer means, well, I gotta wear sunscreen sometimes. And so I have to we're very picky in our house about which sunscreen we use because most of
does
them,
spray on sunscreen work better for you?
no, that's like greasy and no. So we have like different. cream-based ones and like mineral-based ones that aren't and don't run. So I've got some now that it'll work, but when we go on vacation, it's gonna be like, oh, I gotta wear sunscreen and then everything sticks to you and yeah, so it's just it's like I have to do this, but then it feels icky.
Yeah, when it's interesting, I was made a post on LinkedIn or something about how it's, a lot of the sensory stuff like just literally does decrease people's capacity. And I don't know if you've only got mild sensory sensitivities, how much you end up thinking about this. People I think with the intense sensitivities are very aware of this, but it's like if you've got things that are borderline and you only go over capacity when you're working and it's hot and the AC is on and all the extra things that it's like so you don't have as much practice managing that kind of capacity. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of like your threat bucket keeps filling up higher and your capacity to tolerate all the things really is lower. It really can be harder. It's not just you being weird or having an off day that your body
I
just may not
I
be
could
able to
see it
deal
a
with
lot
as
with
much.
yeah, with overstimulated parents. You have a really short fuse, right? So for me, when I'm like for me, sound is a big thing and makes me feel overwhelmed. Like yesterday, we went shopping at the hardware store, whatever, the big box hardware store. Um, and I needed to read a package to try to figure out which thing we needed. And the kids were both jabbering away in the cart, the shopping cart. And then there was another couple ladies over here talking about something. And then of course the like loudspeaker is, making announcements and stuff. And I told my husband, I was like, I just need to take this. I needed to look something up on my phone to make sure I got the right thing to do whatever we had to do. And I said, I need to go in another aisle where there's no people and it's quiet. But years ago, before I could actually say, this is like the sound and the chaos around me makes it so I can't concentrate, I would have just snapped and been like, I can't do this right now. And it would have just seemed like I had a really short fuse, right? So I could see that a lot with like parents with, um, in the car, it's almost like clockwork. So Costco is a very, uh, me and
Intense
Costco,
experience?
we don't always get along. Costco's great, but there's other people there. Um, um, but our routine is like, even during the summer, is like Costco, and then we go to the car, and a lot of times, almost always to the point that the kids, like if we don't do it, they'll get upset. We go and we get takeout from the same place, like every time. Um, and we order the same food every time. See a pattern here. But I can't, like they're all
Patterns? Us?
excited.
Never.
Say same things all the time, never. But they're all chattering away in the back seat or asking me to turn on music or to do something. My husband is, getting ready to drive, and because of poor cell service, we can't move the car until I finish the little online order. So I'm trying to go fast and I'm trying to concentrate. And we've started telling the kids, okay, we're gonna play the quiet game until we can get dinner ordered because otherwise I can't and in the summer it's too hot for me to like go stand outside the car and order and get back in. But there's just too much chaos going on around me. So for me, one of them is definitely noise. Um, and having like earmuffs or earplugs or the Flare audio ear calmers, whichever version works best. But also just recognizing it and then knowing that it's not that I'm angry or having a bad day or off day or whatever. And
That's
then
the
also
key.
reminding my clients, like, it's not that you're a bad mom, it's that your nervous system is being bombarded by all these extra things and you're trying to concentrate on something and you haven't quite been able to pin out why you're getting so angry so quickly. It has nothing to do with the thing that you're trying to do, and it has nothing to do with like the kids don't they're kids. They're going to be loud. That's what they do. And they're not trying to like make you angry. And you're not we've talked about it before, like name it to tame it. You're not actually angry, you're frustrated because you can't concentrate.
Right. Well, and your ability to self-calm internally, subconsciously at that nervous
Hmm.
system regulation level is just not there. And so it's like you are angry, but it's not for like, and it's, and I've spoken for years before I ever had this, is like, I'm angry, but I'm not actually angry. And it never
Yeah,
made sense to me, or saying like my nervous system has not caught up, the rational is not caught up with the emotional, and it's like
yeah,
going further down this road. It's like, oh no, it's like it's a different set of systems than emotional regulation. I mean, it
yeah.
is, but it's like you said, it's the nervous system, and the nervous system is overloaded. It's not
And
that you're angry at the way the world
yeah, I'm
treated
not
you.
not angry at anything. I'm just frustrated because my brain is so overwhelmed at the moment that I can't do the thing I'm trying to get done. And and especially when I'm trying to concentrate or do something fast or whatever. Um, and it just seems like it's more so in the summer, probably because everything that supports your nervous system, all the routines, all the structures, all of that are a little bit off. Not off enough that it's like, oh, this is terrible, but it's just a little bit different. And then
Right.
on top of that, you've got hot weather, being really uncomfortable. You've got some of the summertime ick things.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you might have kids that are on different routines, and so they may
mhm,
have their capacity is being taxed in different ways. I mean,
mhm.
um, I only have to deal with me and I'm feeling it. So, there's a lot of empathy for people with families and other dynamics at play, or, if you're I haven't seen it as much. We haven't had a lot of hot weather here yet. So a lot of my clients being kind of in the general
Hmm.
PNW area, we haven't had a lot of time to ramp into dealing with the extra summer
Hmm.
levels of stuff.
Well, and it's the empathy is key. So being able to self-advocate and then so I have a really amazing partner in that when I say I've realized that it's the noise that's bothering me. It's like, oh, I can understand that. Let me talk to the kids and, you know, or I'll just say, I need you to handle that so that I can do this. And it's like simple short words like that. I need you to do that so I could do this. Like those are all the words I can get out. Um, and he is empathetic and understands, but then also the empathy that he and I have for our kids. So knowing that all of their routines and expectations change. So like one of my kids is going to a summer camp that I mentioned, and so that's a whole new routine, all new stuff going on, lots of pool time, lots of sun, hot. He doesn't do well in overheating and all of that. And so does great all week long, and then the weekends are just a little extra chaotic. So reminding ourselves as parents, like, hey, his nervous system is pretty much toast by the end of the week, that he's not going to be able to, he's going to need help self-regulating. So if we can do something that, helps support his nervous system or have clear anything like little visual cards of checklists that I think I told you, like I put on backpacks and stuff for the summer because the routine is different.
Yeah,
So we're
no, and
less
that
likely to
makes
forget stuff when when everything is labeled and it's right there.
right.
Um,
Well, and I think I was joking with my VA before this. Well, not joking, but it's like every summer I've been in the same apartment for about 6 years now. So I've worked out a lot of the systems, but the first couple hot days or nights, I'm sort of like recalibrating what's going to work right now for, biggest bang for the least dysregulation.
mhm.
And, always trying something different. And it takes me a few days to kind of remember what what was working last year and, what might be useful. I am not usually one of the people who does the over the ear sound muffling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's like after sitting next to it and trying to write a plan for the week last night, the AC, sitting next to the AC, see, I'm dropping more words than normal. Um, I forgot. I had these. I bought these specifically to kind of offer another scaffold to myself in between the input of being cool with the AC, but also the sound. And I intentionally bought, the comparatively quiet AC. That's a bit of a misnomer, but there is no quiet AC per se, unless you have the heat pump outside the house and then the noise is just outside instead of inside. But
Mm.
something like this is good, but they don't fit my ears quite right. And so, will there eventually be another adjustment to my system that, I can tolerate them for a while, but at some point too, my ears are sweaty and they
Mm-hmm.
press weird on the top of my ears because they don't sit right with all the hair I've got and, a whole bunch of
Mm-hmm.
other things that in other circumstances wouldn't really bother me. But right now, they kind of are a lot.
Yeah, as you're talking about the headphones, so in our house we have my husband and I have like over ear. I guess we have over ear noise canceling headphones, but we use them mostly to listen to music. But the kids have just sound muffling earmuffs that they can wear if they're overwhelmed. But the catch is, and I will borrow. My kid has two pairs of like ones that are big enough to fit me and my husband. So there have been times where I'm like, can't find my earplugs. I'm just gonna wear the earmuffs. But the catch is that they get hot and sweaty. So if you're inside and you're in the AC, like it might be tolerable, but even then it's like you can only wear them for so long. It's trading one discomfort for another.
Well,
Um,
and I think what's interesting is, being flexible with it because, some things I can tolerate for a while.
yeah.
And it's like the Flare audio things I was wearing them. I've got Flare audio calmer. They just take the edge off of the sound. They redirect sound into my brain in a different way. Um, but I took them out and it's like, yeah, the inside of my ears just was weird and kind of I don't until I started wearing stuff like this, I didn't realize the inside of my ears could sweat,
Yeah, so that's as
but
you talk
they
about
do.
those, I have my loop ones, and there's two trade-offs. One is that then you hear like yourself breathing, which also weirds me out. So it's like, okay, I got to get used to that. But it's blocking out the stuff that's bothering me. But then after you wear them for a while, or a lot of times I wear my earbud when I'm talking on calls, and it's like, yeah, I didn't know the insides of my ears could sweat. And like my husband he doesn't like most of the things that go in your ears. So a lot of his stuff is over the ear. He does have like some musician earplugs that if he needs to wear them when everybody's being too loud. But it's just interesting to me because I look at it as like our house has all of these sensory things.
Yeah.
That not sensory things as in issues, but as in like I was before we started the recording, I was sitting here fidgeting with a Lego. Um, or we've got, random fidgets and other stuff around the house, and things like that, that's just perfectly normal for us that when I mention it to other people, it's like, oh, that's really, yeah, it's like these are small enough. We actually have like a little makeup case type bag
Hmm.
that is full of my earplugs, the other pair of my earplugs, my husband's earplugs, a fidget keychain, and a couple other things that I can just throw it in my purse if we're going somewhere that I know is going to be overwhelming
Right.
for
Well, I
one of
think
us.
stuff like that is, so much of what I find fascinating on social media is like just the stories of how other people are managing. And I think that's one of the interesting things that you and I may get out of doing this is like we can share our ideas. And if somebody takes something from it, that's cool. But that's neat to think about taking, never would have occurred to me. Makes perfect sense. Little case that's kind of pre-packed with all of those things.
Yeah, it's
Um,
just and we don't take it everywhere. It's just
for when
trying
it's
to remember
needed.
the last, oh, like birthday parties. So my kids get invited to a lot of birthday parties. So it goes like in the diaper bag with the other stuff with some hand sanitizer or wipes or
Yeah,
whatever in
and
it that it's like,
it's an adaptation that you guys have made. And so many adaptions that I think many of us divergent or people managing nervous system stuff, a lot of them we stumble onto semi unintentionally, and somebody else is like, oh my gosh, that's an amazing idea. I
mhm,
was telling a friend about how I wasn't wanting to go to the store yesterday and I wanted, popsicles or something cold but for
mhm,
various reasons between spending money and, going outside where it was hot. I ended up putting frozen berries in my drink and she's like, "Oh my God, that is the most amazing idea." And I was like, my brain just was like, it was practical. They were it wasn't like
mhm,
me trying to do anything special. It was just, I identified something I wanted, and it was like, oh, well, here's something I already have that can fix that. But she was gonna go home and like pull her frozen blueberries out and add them to her water. And it was just like
mhm,
eye opening or life changing in her opinion. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But for me, it was just
mhm.
kind of an automatic way that I adapted because the thing was here and my brain saw a way, an idea of how to put it together. And again, we just think differently, her and I. So something that for me is a very no-brainer is like for other people would never cross their mind,
Mhm.
but vice versa too. They do things that just like, well, that's an interesting idea. And they're like, well, yeah, why wouldn't I do that? It just never would have crossed my brain to make that connection. And so
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
it's like not necessarily feeling weirdly defensive about these practical solutions, but it's like people can make such a big deal out of the all of it that it's like I wasn't trying to be special. I was just trying to function.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting. And then one of the other things that I know I mentioned to like school teachers and stuff earlier in the year, can't remember who I told that to, but generally what works for neurodivergent people often is also beneficial for neurotypical people. So, like even with summer camp and things, I've tried to say, well, if you can give, a heads up 5 minutes before you change activities or stuff like that. So we're having to do a lot more of that in the summer because our routines are off, or giving a heads up of, like my husband and I know, like we can't decide last minute that we're going to go to the store after preschool and camp pickup because the kids' expectation is that they're coming home to, you know, in their mind, they have their activity for the evening planned. We're going to come home, we're going to eat dinner, we're going to play, we're going to go to bed. And if we pick them up and say, hey, we're going to the store instead, if we didn't warn them that morning, it's like, what are you doing? Uh,
Right.
so but a lot of times what works for neurodivergent people works for neurotypical people too. So if you've got cheat sheets, checklists, like fidgets, earplugs, like all of those things, um, they're just better scaffolds and supports and ways to support your nervous system, no matter which way your neurotype is wired.
Yeah. And I think that that's useful. I noticed that my lighting changed, so maybe as a sign to wrap up my um brain is going,
What,
yeah, now it's like I've got the sun directly on my
like,
face
why is your lighting changing?
because everything's on auto turn on and turn off. And
Oh,
but again, routine change because I slept with my bedroom door open for long, complicated reasons. The daylight timer comes on at like 4 in the morning and I can't change it.
Ah, okay.
So normally bedroom door shut is fine. I turned it off last night and now it's on its own schedule.
It's doing its own thing.
It's doing its own thing. So adjustment there is like, so that has always been a cue to me too, of like when to get up or when to go to bed or whatever is,
Yep.
my auto lights. And even my lights are changing right now because I need to change the system, change the scaffold, change the support. And from the outside, it's not that big a deal. But, all of these together add up to, oh, yeah, I got on my first call this morning and I couldn't even talk coherently. And I wasn't in a bad mood, which was a nice shift, but having to remember that, oh, yeah, everything is just a little bit out of sync right now.
Yeah, and I think last topic, I know in the winter we had talked about like at one point in either this past winter or the winter before we've talked about like when it's dark all the time and like daylight lamps and stuff like that. Well, now we have the opposite sort of screwing up the routine too, is that it's like I love the morning light that comes into my house and stuff, but it's just like, oh, it's very bright in the morning. Like, oh, it's lighter longer. Um, like it's still light out and we're going to bed. Uh, because we
Right.
go to bed early. Um, so yeah, it's just there's so many different aspects to summer that change routines and sensory experiences and all kinds of things that we don't even realize are different in the summer.
Right. It's like, what time is your sunrise right now?
Oh, hold on a second.
Because yeah, the birds start chirping here at like 3:38 in the morning.
So we have I think they're mockingbirds that like to make noise all night long. Uh, so I'll be laying there in bed at like 10, 11 o'clock at night and be like, what is out there singing? Um, but I'm trying to
Yeah,
see.
our sunrise officially is 5:08 a.m. right now, and sunset is 9:33 or
I don't
something.
know that ours is that early. Ours is 6:21 and sunset is 8:56. So our and we're almost to
Uh,
equinox, right?
Almost a
Or almost
solstice.
to solstice, yeah. Sorry, brain words, they're hard. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's just, but like the kids' bedtime is between 7 and 8, depending on the day, usually that it's like, oh, it's still light outside. Like, good thing you have blackout curtains because we're going to bed. Um,
Yeah. But it is funny. Side story, and then we can wrap up before we end up down another 27 rabbit holes. But I remember the first time that I was a small child and I got up after my parents had put me to bed, in the summer for probably to get a drink of water, whatever you do when you're like 3 or 4 or 5. And I walked into the living room and it registered that the sun was still up. And I'm like, I was very confused
hmm
because it's like bedtime was still worked, but it was like, wait, hold on, it's not dark. Like
Yeah,
that first realization of like
my kids have
daylight cycles
asked.
in a whole different way.
Yeah, because our dinner table has our kitchen table is right by a window and it faces west, so we see the sunset. And so like during the school year, the sun is setting while we're at the dinner table. And then it's like we're eating dinner and it's still like as the kids say, the sun is still awake. The sun's not going to bed yet. Like
Yep.
trying to explain, yeah, that's like trying to explain daylight savings time. Like I'm not going there. But the clock says the timey says it's time for bed. So,
So we're going to bed. Yeah. Well, and
but
I was
yeah.
tired last night and I went to bed before it was dark and I'm like, oh, this is so weird. And yeah, it's really only a few weeks here in, right around mid-June to early July that is kind of most noticeable, but
The
and we
coolest
get
part
one
about it.
routine adapted and then we have to shift it again, as is life.
Mhm. But the coolest part about it is that, I do a lot of like gardening and stuff, planty things.
Uh-huh.
Um, but where my room is, we go and we sit and watch the news or a TV show or whatever in our room, and I have the curtains open to look outside, and I can see generally it's about like dusk, like just past sunset when by the time we get kids down and everything else. Um, but the fireflies, lightning bugs, whichever region of the country you're in, whatever
We
you
don't
call
have
them.
any of those.
Um, but those have been coming out since May, and we have a decent amount of them in our backyard. So I can like sit there and turn out all the lights inside and watch the twilight sort of fade. And as it starts to get a little bit darker, you'll see them showing up, and then you see them more and more as it gets dark. Um, so that's just been, I think this is the second summer that I've like intentionally paid attention to. Like this is definitely a May and June thing. You'll see them in July and August, but um mostly in June. So it's like, oh, this is cool. I can just sit here and
Yeah.
they're trying to remind me to stop playing on my phone and go to sleep.
There you go. Well, it's always fun to, have some, you know, and as we're both getting more intentional and more aware of our words, and our nervous systems and changing routines to continue to support ourselves, that seems like a good place to kind of put a pin in this conversation for today.
Yep, and we will go off and enjoy summer.
Yeah. And again, this is Amy with Creative Catapult Coaching. You can find me online. And if you've got questions or curiosity about coaching, I would always love to talk with you. And Megan is
This is
also
Megan.
on space. You're on space.
I got it. This is Megan with Focus Like a Mother. Words are hard. Um, and you can find me on Instagram and Facebook.
There we go.
Um, and also focuslikeamother.com. And especially if you are overstimulated and overwhelmed and trying to be present and patient and the best parent you can in this chaotic season of life. So otherwise, this is the Control Alt Think podcast, Conversations with Neurodivergent Minds. And anything else, Amy?
We'll talk to you next time.